Hey guys, what's up? It's Reese at Spressatore Cane Corso, and I am out here with the entire pack. It's super windy out here, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna try to stay away from those trees. We need to get those cut down. You see they're like swaying, and it's cold today. It's not the best day. I think it may rain. It's like 54 degrees out here, maybe even cooler. Yesterday it was gorgeous. Today, not so. It's pretty, but it's definitely not warm. So I had some questions about how much do I feed my Corso. And basically, guys, I always go by the guidelines, the feeding guidelines on the back of the bag, unless I have a very young puppy with the high metabolism, because, you know, puppies move more and they require more to maintain their fat. And like I said, with the Corso puppies, I think it's safe to or any large breed puppy, just to feed a large breed puppy food. And for me, what's been reliable is Diamond Naturals large breed puppy. It's meat for the protein source, and everything in that food for a young growing puppy has enough fat in it, enough protein in it, and the feeding guidelines for a young puppy is right on. So for my older dogs, I will tell you, so I usually feed the Diamond Naturals Extreme Athlete, but because of the coronavirus and availability of products, they had more available of the Diamond, oh God, I can't think of the name. I don't know why. Performance. It's the Diamond Performance in the black and purple bag. So I was able to get a stock load of that food. So if I were feeding my adults, which when I say adults, I'm not talking about my teenagers. So Trinity would be my teenager, and Jade would be my teenager. So I'm not going to feed them. They can eat the premium. So whenever a puppy hits, and for a large breed, when they hit about 11 months, you can up the protein, you guys. So they were eating, they are off the Richter scales today. They were eating the large breed puppy, and then about I would even say 10 months of age, I started them on the Performance. So Jade eats 5 cups of the Performance a day, and Trinity eats 4 cups of the Performance a day. If Trinity were any larger, like when she's about 2 years of age, she may stay on the 4 cups a day. I look at the condition of the dog and how they're looking at the moment, not so much how much should I feed them per that guideline when they're adults, because every adult dog has a different metabolism, energy level. So Melina, she's a big girl. She's well over 100 pounds. I would say she's about like 105, which is pretty significantly big for a bitch. She eats 5 cups a day, but Katana eats 4 cups a day, and she's actually my smallest female in the pack. And like I said, Jade eats 5, Trinity eats 4, Achilles eats 5. Because he's active, but he is not as active as Melina. You know, he could be a bit of a couch potato when he's in the house. His talent is finding places to sleep throughout the day away from the kids. Even if that requires him going in a room by himself in some random room and finding him beside the bed or something like that. But yeah, Trinity, I would say she's not as, I guess, reactive as far as guarding the fence line as, like, let's just say Jade and Melina. So she is very active, but she's not as active. But she's very active. So that's why I was saying she may just stay at the 4-cup range. It's really just depending on her. And she's at that lanky, wonky growth phase of her growth. So they're lanky regardless. When Jade was going through that lanky stage, you guys, she was actually eating 8 cups a day. And I wasn't going by the feeding guideline on the bag. I was going by her condition. When you see your dog, when you're starting to notice that you're seeing a little bit more rib than normal, and you can really feel the hip bone a little bit more, up the food. Just up it by a cup. Give it a week. See if the dog maintains a better weight by a week of upping it by a cup. And if they still need more, up it by another cup. Now, the extreme athlete, Katana, eats 3 cups of that a day, and I feed twice a day, so 1.5 cups in the morning, 1.5 cups in the evening. And Melina eats 4 cups of that. Achilles eats 4 cups of that. Because that food is very high. I think it's like a 30-20, like the performance, but it's more deprived of chicken protein than performance. Ooh, look at that girl move. Look at that girl move. And you guys, we were talking about just structure yesterday, kind of like funky development. And as you can see, Trinity's actually starting to come back together. I had some questions and concerns about her looking a certain way, having a very roach top line and blah, 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 and a croup. Well, I will say the Corso, a very unique trait that the Corso has is that they do have somewhat of a roundness to their croup. Now, I'm not sure exactly where her croup is going to be by the end of this, but by the end of her growth, but it may be a little more on the steep side, but it's not so steep that it's the worst croup I've ever seen. And the croup, actually, it just seems like the dogs with the croup that is more rounded and drops off are fast. They are fast. But it's not necessarily the correct croup per standard for the Corso. But with that said, no dog is perfect. I don't have a perfect dog. I don't know anybody else that has a perfect dog. So, like I said, what we do is we take, if she's strong in other places, then Rachel, which Achilles has, his croup is a little short and his tail set's a little higher, but if he's bred to her, he will help her croup, and that is the hope. And the breeding that Rachel's doing off of Trinity has more so to do with health and temperament, while improving the structural faults. So that is what's going on with that. And like I said, she's still very young. She's wonky. She's a teenager. We expect that. Jade is older than her by, I would say, maybe Jade's like a couple months, maybe 3 months older than Trinity. But with that said, Jade was my more balanced grower. You know, she never really went through anything too wonky, but everybody else did. Melina went through this very ugly, lanky stage where she looked very square. And now, you know, she has excellent length. That chest is dropped all the way to the elbows. She's just a phenomenal dog, and Jade is too. And Trinity is well on her way. And Katana's wonkiness was that She actually had a roachy top line and a very high rear at Trinity's age. And with patience and with growth, she grew on out of it. And as I said before, she's almost a grand champion, which, you know, look at her. Look at her. Katana is spoiled, self-entitled. She doesn't like to gate, but she likes to stack. And what's a show dog if it doesn't want to gate? So, I don't know, you guys. Maybe if we can get her out of this mood where she's so negative, I can finish out that grand champion title on a weekend, because she is a phenomenal dog. She's a really good looking dog. I get a lot of compliments from a lot of like big known breeders and handlers, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on this girl. She's a nice girl. And like I said, so as far as the feeding, look at your dog. Look at your dog's condition. You only want to see 2 ribs, and you want to see a good tuck up on your dog. If you want to keep your dog athletic looking like mine. And I know people are a little funny about Diamond products, but honestly, I avoided Diamond for years. I avoided Diamond Naturals dog food. And I never fed grain-free, but I always found foods. Like I fed Native Performance, I fed Canaday, I fed, it's a holistic food. I can't think of the name, but it's pretty expensive now. Back in the day when I was buying it, it was like $56 for a 30-pound bag. Now this stuff's like $60-70, but I can't think of the name. It's not Holistic Select, it's another one. But I have fed it all. I know about all the foods. And in the recent issues with the raw feeding that I went through, and also the issues concerning the cardiac issues, the dilated cardiac issues, I think the DCM, it's called. Diamond just started looking not too bad. And I know a lot of breeders that have been breeding for years where they have never changed from feeding Diamond, and their dogs haven't had any major health issues at all from feeding Diamond, and the condition looks good. And honestly, you guys, I mean, I have dogs that look like they're being fed like, you know, maybe raw diet. Maybe people are under the impression that I only feed raw, because my dog's conditions are just phenomenal. But that's what I do. And I do add in, like I said before, the salmon oil. You can add in the cod oil, salmon oil, even olive oil if you would like. And we do an egg every so often. And we do supplement in raw whenever right now, I mean, we just can't supplement in the raw because, I mean, there's just not enough available at the grocery stores, and we have to have the raw meat for our families. So we're eating the raw meat right now, not the dogs, but they are maintaining excellent condition considering that right now they're only eating their dog food with a little bit of oil supplemented in with each meal. So anyway, I thought I'd just talk about that today and let you take a look at the dogs. And I have my mic in. Hopefully it's not too loud. I figured out how to get it working. It wasn't too hard. And for anybody that's tried to reach me, either it's through Messenger or text message, pretty much I couldn't figure out what kind of phone I wanted. I am like so indecisive. I am like very, very indecisive. Even when it comes to breeding, I know people are like, who are you gonna breed your females to? We need to know. And it's like, you guys, I'm so indecisive. The stud changes by the day because I want to get the best possible outcome that I can. So please know that I'm an indecisive person, but it's because I'm so picky and I'm looking for the best results. And lately, I'll tell you what I've been looking for. So in breeding my dogs, you guys, lately, I'm looking for better, I'm looking for better upper arms. I'm looking for a little bit more size in regard to bone. And I'm looking for head pieces. So dogs that will bring in even more type into my program. So I'm really trying to up my game and produce just phenomenal Corsos all around. I'm all about the balanced dog, the balanced Corso. The dog that may not be perfect, but all around is not a bad dog at all. So if my stud choices change, please understand I'm only going to be doing any changes and revisions in regards to breeding because of things like that. It's nothing. I do not breed the studs based off a title and name and blah, 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 blah. I don't care if a dog, there are dogs that are in people's backyards that are phenomenal that we never hear about. And, when I got into the Corso, I believed in the full dog. I want a dog that not only can strut its stuff in the show ring, you guys, but has a sound mind and can do its job. And so I'm on that witch hunt. And that's why my preference and my studs change so often. And I'm not so set on one thing. And also please note that I cannot promise repeat breedings. That's never been an interest of mine. I did a repeat on Katana and Achilles only because the first litter was such good result that I thought maybe genetically there was more in there and that I can benefit out of and keep. So I did the second breeding, and although it was a really good litter, very nice looking dogs, I didn't really get anything too much different, same quality. So I petted them all out to pet homes, and look at Jade. That's the quality I want people to have. I want people to feel like when they purchase a dog from me, they are getting the very best that I have to offer and I worked hard for. So, I want people to have dogs like Jade and dogs like Melina and Katana. So any breedings that I do is going to be for the best outcome. And I want it to be so consistent that it's hard to pick, hard to decide which puppy you want. And I tell my customers because, I know people get stuck on color and gender and all that. I will more so listen to your gender preference than your color preference. I tell all my customers that buy from me, trust me. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me about your family and your lifestyle, and I will help you select the best puppy that I have available at the moment for that, because I want to set these puppies up for success in their homes. And because I've seen it way too many times where people get the dog they want, the color they want, but they don't necessarily get the personality that they want. And I do think there's kind of a difference in temperament and personality. Personality just kind of ranges. Maybe the person wants the more serious dog and personality, which I think that all the Corso should be a very stable temperament. So let's say the dog is very stable in mind, stable in temperament, but the dog's a little more silly, or the other dog's a little more serious. I don't want to put the more intense dog, even if it's a blue dog or the black dog, in a situation where they have to be with the family, you know, like with small children. And not that my dogs have ever been an issue for people with families. My dogs are very, very good temperamented. But, you know, maybe the family would enjoy Katana's temperament per se. The silly temperament, you know, she can turn it off and on. So, you know, that's more so what I'm interested in. So, like I said, please note that anytime I have a change in plans, it's only because I'm looking for the best. But so far, I think my stud choices are going to stay. I do not rely on me doing repeat litters. Every litter I do is for me to prospectively keep out of. So if I do a litter and I get out of it what I want the first shot, I'm not going to repeat that litter. Or if I do the litter and genetically the two lines just didn't blend and it just didn't go well and I don't keep anything out of it, don't expect me to ever do that breeding again. Look at that. Look at that structure. Such a pretty dog. They're all pretty. But, you know, that's just kind of how my program is going to be working, be operating. And I still have slots open for the Aria and Preacher breeding. I think this is the last breeding that Preacher will be doing for a while. Ooh, look at that. So if you're interested, email me. I always leave my email, contact information in the description box for people to reach out. So I do have openings for that breeding. And please note, if you're trying to get a hold of me, and I think I got way off course in my thought process, was getting too serious. I want to say that, where was I at with that thought? Oh yeah, so I was indecisive about the phone, the cell phone situation. I couldn't figure out what I wanted. And so I just kind of decided to just kind of put it off, and I'll just get something once my phone is absolutely completely broke, because it's broken, guys. Like, it only would work with the S Pen. And now I can't even function the phone with the S Pen. So it's completely broke, but I have a replacement coming in. Should be here by the weekend or next week. So if you haven't been able to reach me via text or messenger, just please note that. What you guys say, Kelly's? What you guys say? What you guys say? Trinity's, look at the girls. They're like, what you want, Kelly's? Oh my gosh, they're so silly. But anyway, you guys, I am going to let you go. I'm going to get in. I'm chilling. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.